who give of their time and a great deal of efforts to help people in Haiti, which was devastated by an earthquake over 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago almost now. Deacon John Aliskevich. Close, but no cigar. And his wife, Pauline Aliskevich.
That's right.
And Patty Mitko. Right, okay. And I'm so interested to hear about this. I know a woman who lives near my aunt on the Cape who is involved in, you know, my husband jokingly said, oh, you should ask them if they know Jean, you know. Oh, no, her name isn't Jean, it's Ellen. If you know, but it makes me realize that Haiti has not been forgotten by certain groups, and you people represent a group right here in Fitchburg, St. Bernard and St. Camilla's Church, and you do tell us about what you do, because I could never possibly say.
Why don't we start with how the Hatian Outreach got to St. Bernard's Church?
Okay.
What happened probably 3.5 years ago, you probably remember when the churches merged?
Yes.
Well, the people who ran it at the time, Claire Giuliani and Louis Giuliani, came from Paris, Madonna Rose of the Holy Rosary, to St. Bernard's. And I had just semi-retired from Lowell. I had been working in Lowell for 9 years as Mission Integration Director. And that was on my list, my bucket list, to go to Haiti.
Wow.
So it just happened one day, Louis and Claire came to our church, and I had the assignment there of being the outreach director, the outreach coordinator. So I talked to Louis and Claire after, and I said to Father Dolan, who has been very, very good to the outreach program, I said to him, you know, why don't we reach out to Haiti? He said, that's a terrific idea. So hence we talked to Claire and Louis, invited them to the parish for the Haitian Outreach to be there, and that's really how it started. For St. Bernard's people, and St. Bernard's has so much, as I say, the parish council and everything have been behind us 100%.
Okay.
And sad to say, Claire Giuliani passed a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. And at that point, St. Bernard was so invested that the head of the parish council came up to me and said, is this going to affect us backing up the Haitian? Are we going to lose this? And so I just want to make sure I say that we really appreciate St. Bernard Church and Father Dolan, who backs us up 150%.
Yeah.
And I think Pauline might be able to give you
a little bit more about the ministry itself. So the ministry started in 1998 in Leominster. There was a couple by the name of Laurie and Norman Charpentier, and they went to Haiti, and they got involved with the Sisters of the Queen Mary Immaculate, which is the same order that we work with very closely. And while they were there, some of the girls came to the convent to find refuge. Their fathers were prostituting them for the money.
Oh my.
And they decided, Laurie especially, wanted to have a place where they could go and go to school. So she started this ministry and helped the sisters to start a school. The sisters have 8 schools now in different parts of Haiti, and we visit 5, and we support 5 while we're there, because that's really all we can do in the time that we're there.
Yeah.
We have sponsors all over the country. We have sponsors at Martha's Vineyard.
Really?
We have sponsors out in California.
No, I just assumed that this was just within the parish itself, but it's simply what's the word? It lives at St. Bernard's Parish,
That's
but
a good
it's
way to put
actually
it.
a national outreach.
Nationally known.
Oh my gosh.
We have a website, which I've given the information, and it'll be on your TV screen later.
Yep.
And we had about 312 children last year, and we saw them in March, and we delivered a backpack to them. So a sponsor, when they're willing to take a child, will take a boy or a girl, and they pay $100 for their tuition, a uniform, and some immunizations if they need them.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Then they pay $60 for a backpack, which is full of all kinds of items, school supplies, rice, food, a brand new pair of shoes for school, and an outfit.
Yeah.
And we pack those and we label them and we ship them, which is one of our largest costs, is the shipping to Haiti.
Yeah, oh, right, yeah.
We ship them in 45-gallon bins, and we tape everything up. And we have people here who volunteer and do that work, and they're shipped from here to Florida, from Florida to Haiti, and we have a person in Haiti who is extremely reliable,
Yes.
who meets them at the port and
Yeah.
brings them to a building that we own there.
And then you go in March?
That's right.
Right.
And are they already distributed
No,
by
we
then?
distribute them.
You do?
And we see
yeah.
the children, we take a picture of them,
Wonderful.
and we take some demographic information on them. We measure their shoe, their foot.
Oh, sure.
So that they can
Children
get a new
grow.
pair of shoes. That's right. That's right. And so it's wonderful to meet them and to see them, see how they grow each year.
You know, we talked a little bit before the show started, and what shocked me, I think, the most, because I've always known Haiti is a very poor country.
Right.
I didn't realize that they really didn't have a public school system.
No,
They
they
do
do
And
not.
so if the children want to get educated, their families have to come up with money, which is
Right.
pretty hard in a very
Somehow.
poor country.
And that's where we come in.
Yeah.
Because we pay part of the tuition, the other part of the family takes care of it. And I mentioned to you before the show that, and this is hard, only one child per family can go to school. And it's the parents who have to pick which child that's going to be. So as a parent, I can only imagine
Yeah.
making that decision.
Right.
And an odd statistic is 85% it's the female that goes to school.
That's interesting to me.
It is.
But I suppose they want the sons to, because they're, you know, labor is
That's
probably manual
Right.
labor, and that's what they figure they're going to be doing.
But the problem is they hang around on the streets.
Ah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I'd like to share while we're on that
Yeah.
about Haiti, and we're talking about it quite a bit from the end of going there, but as Patty's going to say in a little few minutes, that it's a life-changing experience. It's a benefit of the people who go to. The first year I went, I just went with Claire and Louie, and I moved boxes for them. But when I got back, it was 5 days for me that I just sat there and thought about what I had seen and what we have in this country, and that out there, you know, they're poor in this country. They're very
Yeah.
much needed,
Yeah.
but we have a lot of programs here.
Yeah.
In Haiti, for instance, if we don't get them,
Yeah.
there's a chance that there's
Yeah.
no other program
They have
that's
no
gonna get 'em.
resources
They have
there.
no
The government provides no Medicare, Medicaid, welfare. There are no soup kitchens. There are no shelters. You know, there's nothing available for these people. A lot of them live in a metal structure with their children, their families, no running water. It is the most
And if the
poorest country.
outreach is something that actually started years before the earthquake.
It did, yeah.
I mean, it makes you realize then that since the earthquake, the need for this outreach has, you know, exponentially become huge.
Right.
Because whatever they didn't have before, they have even less of
Less,
it now.
Exactly.
And there's still, emotionally, there's still a great fear there. The first year I was there at 9 o'clock at night, I'll never forget it, we had a 5.2 earthquake. And we're right in Port-au-Prince. And that whole city, everybody in buildings emptied out.
Yeah.
And everybody stayed out the whole night, would
Yeah.
not go to
Yeah.
bed because of the fear
Yeah,
of
the
it. We're
fear
going
of
to
it.
get,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that
mean,
emotional thing
You
is
know,
there as well.
I mean, this is, I'm really being stupid here, but when we went through the ice storm and
Yeah.
we were without power for, you know, a week, ever since then, whenever the lights go out, I
Yeah.
have this horrible
Say, you can
fear.
see, that's exactly,
And,
yeah.
and I was thinking about that watching TV about the earthquakes in Nepal.
Same, yeah.
And thinking to myself, how do they do this? Because I start to freak out if the lights flicker. And then they don't flicker, and they stay on, and I continue doing what I'm doing.
Exactly.
And yet these people
Lucky,
have
huh?
to, yes, absolutely
Right, yeah,
lucky.
yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I want to get moving
Okay, yeah,
on
yeah.
Patty's contribution.
So I went for the first and only time 2 years ago, and I was scared and didn't really know what to expect. It's something that I've always wanted to do. It sounds silly, but you know, you see the commercials with Sally Struthers, and you know, help this child and help this child, and of course I want to help all of them, but you don't know what's real and what isn't.
Yep.
So we landed, and you know, you're kind of ushered through customs off the plane, and you walk out into the airport, and it's like, oh my God, what did I do?
Yeah.
So we, you know, we got on buses and we into our van, and we went to the compound where we
Right.
stay, and it was unbelievable. It's like nothing I can describe. I took pictures. I tried to tell my family what it was like, and nothing can just explain that feeling.
We just have
There's
like no
people-
experience
there's no
here
experience,
with anything
no.
like that. Yeah.
There's people everywhere.
Yeah.
I can't believe the amount of congestion. There's people everywhere.
Yeah.
There's kids on the streets.
Yeah.
You know, my daughter's 14. I don't let her go anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Yeah.
little kids running up and down the street. There's trash everywhere.
Yeah.
During the week that we were there, we went to one of the schools that is far away, the Lillavois, and it's a long ride, and it's bumpy, and it's hot, and we're shoved in the back of a van. So it's a long day, but you get to look out the window and see the country. And I'll never forget, you know, the people that had been there before me kept talking about what improvements since the earthquake. Oh, it's so improved since the earthquake. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Because there's still a lot of people living in sheet tents,
Yeah.
sheet metal tents.
Yeah.
And it's hot there.
Yeah.
And I love the heat. But
Yeah.
can you imagine living in that heat in a sheet metal tent?
Oh my.
And then we were coming back. We had one free day, and we went to the beach. And I'm not sure if it was that day, but we, you know, to get to this beach, we had to drive down this little dirt road, and there's, you know, people living in tents, there's trash, there's this, I couldn't believe it. And, you know, everything's gated, which struck me at first. And then, but, you know, you're driving down the road looking out the back of a van, and, you know, I'm just snapping pictures and not knowing what I'm taking pictures of. But there's trash piles, there's animals loose, there's markets on the street that just amaze me, that people that live there buy their produce off the street, they buy their meat off the street. We saw people showering on the side of the road that live in a big tent city.
Yeah.
It was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
You couldn't take a deep breath because the air is different. I hate the winter.
Yeah.
And when we came back, I couldn't wait. Like, we got off the plane, and first of all, we stunk. And even though I took a cold shower every day, but we smelled.
Yeah.
And we got off the plane, and I just was so excited to breathe because the air is so thick, and they burn their trash so you can see the smoke in the mountains every night. And it's just unbelievable.
And so really it's people who are desperately trying to simply survive. And I think we forget what it's like. We don't know. Luckily, we don't know
We have no
that
idea.
to simply try to survive, and that is what your whole focus every day is. Wow.
There was a couple of us that went out one night because we wanted to see,
Yeah.
you know, what people did.
Yeah.
So we went to a bar,
Yeah.
and there was nobody there. But one of the people that we went with knew this couple that owned this. They served food. I don't really, it was a restaurant, but
Yeah.
I was talking to this woman who is from the Worcester area, ironically, and she was telling me how when, you know, she lives there, she buys her meat off the street, and I just couldn't believe it because it's not refrigerated. And it just amazes me that they're not all sick,
Yeah.
you know, because there's no sanitation, there's no,
There's
you know,
no
that-
water.
there's no fresh air,
Yeah.
there's no anything.
Well, you brought some pictures along that we've got that we can look at. So, but you can talk us through the pictures?
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
so if Marie would start those.
So this is one of our schools, and it's Croix du Bouquet, and we're headed inside the gate. You can see that there's wire all around, so the children are really protected inside, but they walk for miles until they get to school. So they walk through. You'll see rubble in one of the other pictures. So their shoes don't last very long. And this is just one of the roads that we went down and some of the structures, piles of rocks. They were building 5 brand new hotels in Port-au-Prince last year. So that brings in a little bit of business. They have businessmen who come, architecture people who come to restructure some of the buildings.
You know, my first thought, just to hold that for a second, my first thought is, you know, but they need schools, they need all this other stuff, but they need business too. They need jobs, and these hotels are going. The hotels will help supply the money that they can start working on.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then we have.
And this is a lady that came with us this year. It was her first time coming, and she had been to other foreign countries. This is Jeanette, and one of the sisters, Sister Immaculate Cornelius is her order name, but we called her Sister Elma. This is the group that was there this year in March. We couldn't wait to get away from the snow here, and we went to one of the hotels. That's right, one night. Another structure where there's just rocks piled up, and you can see the iron gates and doors as you travel through. This is a very typical street, as Patty said. There are people everywhere just selling bread or fruit or meat or clothing or shoes. And this is another one of our schools, Mother Monique, which is all kindergartners and primary little children, and they all wear little uniforms, little pink uniforms, and their socks match, and their hair is braided with pink or yellow. This is across the street from the compound that we stay in Port-au-Prince.
There we go. Steep.
The pinkies,
We call them the little pinkies, those little kindergartners and first graders. And they're so grateful. They just, it's like Christmas. When we come, they love to see the vehicle come in, and they get in line for
Most
us.
of them.
They're very,
The year I was there was a little girl in there, and she was scared to death of us. I mean, she was little.
Oh, yeah.
But she was so cute.
And now these are the backpacks
That's
that you
right.
bring.
So we bring backpacks to each of our 5 schools. And
So
every
each child in the school gets a backpack?
No, in our program.
In your program?
In our program that has a
sponsored child.
sponsor.
Okay.
And we came back this year with almost 100 names of children, starting from 3 to about 16 that would like to be sponsored for school. So if anybody would like to do that, they can contact us.
One of the things that struck me the most and made me so sad was that these children, it's like the first couple days I basically measured feet. And let me tell you, these children, first of all, their feet are dirty because they walk barefoot most of the time. The ones that go to school have to wear socks and shoes, but their shoes don't fit them. When they outgrow them, they fold the back down, so their heels just hang over onto the hot tar. Their socks have holes in them and they're filthy. And it's just sad. You know, I can't tell you how many times somebody asked me for my shoes off my feet. You know, because that's all, you know,
That is
they
their
just need
biggest
shoes.
need is shoes.
Shoes. Wow.
Yeah. We leave a lot of our clothing there that we bring with us.
Do you?
Our
Wow.
shoes, so that people can use it.
Wow.
And
We kind of pack accordingly, so we leave.
So basically you just
We
go
don't come
home
back with a lot.
one set of clothing and you can leave. Wow, that's amazing.
I leave mine in case they need bed sheets.
Yeah. Wow. What a clever thing to do, though. You'd think if you're traveling, you pack
Save
everything
you
up.
some trouble.
But I mean, it's great because, and as you say, you know, the idea of shipping that down would be very costly. So you ship yourself down
and bring as
all
much
this
as you
stuff,
can.
and then
And even regular things like soap and, you know, female sanitary supplies, shampoo, toothpaste. I mean, things that we totally take for granted. That
That's
are
what
real
they ask
issues.
for. That's what they want. The kids won't ask for toys or candy. They ask for soap, toothpaste, toothbrushes.
One of the things that's happened to us this year is that we've actually been displaced. We were asked to move from our space up in Park Hill for renovations. And we
are looking for space in Fitchburg or Leominster. Right now, we're temporarily housed at the St. Bernard's Church on Water Street, which has been closed.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
so we're not really open this year, but normally we take a lot of donations from people and we ship them to Haiti. As Patty said, personal items, clothing,
Like through the
food.
year, not
That's
just in
right.
March?
Right,
That's
exactly. yeah.
Okay.
So we're
okay.
looking for a place to set up. We are a tax deductible program.
Yeah,
So people could take the rent as a tax deduction.
I see.
If
Yeah.
they had a place that we could
Yeah.
use.
All right.
And mostly we're open in the good weather. We're really closed in the cold.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
because we're really getting ready to
Ready
go
to go
Haiti.
to that, for that week, yeah, okay. So we had a few more pictures, did we, or was that?
I think that's about it.
Oh.
There were just a
Oh,
few.
look
Oh,
at
there's
them
another
blooms.
one.
Now,
So
which
this
school is this?
This is another school, and this looks like it could be Lillevoix, which is a school that's about an hour away from Port-au-Prince. So we travel out there with a truck with the backpacks, and the children get in line. And John can tell you a story about the first year he went. We give them candy, lollipops or little pieces of candy, which they never ever have. And
The first year I went out there, I was a new guy, so they said, take this bag of candy and we'll give it to the kids. The teachers don't mind, so I started giving candy one by one, and all of a sudden I was swarmed by kids. I was like in a sea of kids. The teachers had to come out and help me out of there, but they're so, and that broke my heart because, as Patty said, some of them are dirty, there's flies around them, you know, but they're just loving that little piece of candy. And with that said, something else that they do is really, if you went there now, they would rub your skin. And you say, why? And they, because the real little ones never saw anybody white. So they think you've got, that's
Something,
a coloring.
get that
so they
off
rub,
so
yeah.
they could
and that
see
was
you.
kind of, that's kind of heart-wrenching
Interesting.
too.
touching.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
touching. They
The-
crowd
Oh my
around you.
gosh.
When
Yeah.
the year I went, we walked through Lillevoix, and it's amazing anyway, that school. But I just remember walking through these schools, and some of the kids would, you know, come up and they'd try to talk to you or touch you, and
yeah.
I love you, and
Yeah.
it's just the sweetest thing.
Well, Pauline, have you been every year?
No, I have not. I've been 2 years in a row.
Okay.
And quite frankly, it was not a place that I really wanted to visit.
Yeah.
But we know that we don't always have control of things. There is someone up above us who
Yeah.
controls the way things go.
Well, I do think that's actually interesting that it's one thing to just get money together and buy things and send it and say,
Right.
hope for the best. But the fact that, from what you've described, it's not an easy place to be.
That's right.
It doesn't sound like it's particularly pleasurable outside of meeting the kids and,
Right.
and the people that you deal with, but in terms of, it's not a resort.
It's
You're
not
not
a
there
resort.
on
Not a resort.
vacation. You're not there on
accommodations are
vacation.
better. That's
the,
right.
The sad part of that is,
And
too,
yet you keep going. That's my
Yeah,
point. You
right.
keep going.
Well, I
You
think
say,
it's
well,
what
we got to do it again.
Pauline
and we're
said, I
going
think
to.
it's beyond us.
Yes.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
would I rather be in Florida with my friends? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I would be. And so would these guys, but
Yeah.
it's just beyond that.
Yeah.
I admit that I am a spoiled American, and I like hot showers, and I like my clean clothes and my blow dryer.
Yeah.
And when you go there, you do not have any of those things.
Yeah.
We stay
I
in
was
the compound.
excited to have running water, but it's
Running-
ice
yes.
cold.
Yeah.
When we
The
get to the
electricity
airport,
shuts off
That's right.
at all various times throughout the day. It doesn't always
yeah.
work. You know,
So-
there's not always running toilets.
And so, I had just had senior moment. I've lost it. But
Right.
but it makes you. You know, I think it was when you said you went for a week, and I thought, gee, how much can you get done in a week? Why would you only go for a week? Now I understand. A week is.
That's enough.
It's a long time.
The first couple times I went, it was 10 days,
Ooh.
and we got the work done in 7.
Yeah.
So you've got 3 days, and it's not a vacation.
it's not a
spot.
resort
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
You want to go home. You really want
Yeah.
to go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's greatly improved
It
in the
has.
5 years
Yes.
since the storm there and the
Yeah.
earthquake.
Yeah.
There have been some great improvements.
Yeah.
And there are quite a few colleges that are built there. There are foreign students that come in. But for the basic people that live there, basic necessities are missing.
Wow.
But
So-
I think that's what keeps us wanting to go
Right.
back.
Yeah.
You know,
yes, because you know it's never going to be, okay, we're all set, tie
and
that up with a ribbon.
I personally got to meet the child. I mean, we weren't even, you know, because of the transition with Claire passing, and we weren't even going to take new children, but this little girl found me.
Wow.
And, you know, I wasn't even really, because I'm in school, and, you know, I wasn't really sure I was going to sponsor a child quite yet financially, but she found me.
Wow.
And, you know, I got my picture taken with her, and I met her and spent time with her, and, you know, this year I wasn't able to go, but, you know, I got pictures of her and got to see that her shoes finally fit, and that she has clothes that fit her. And it's touching, because these are real people.
We are getting close to the end of the show, so I want to make sure that we got that website. Was it a website that you had? That we've got that up on the screen, so that anybody who is interested in so you're taking all sorts of monetary donations as well as clothing,
household items. We don't ship glass, but we'll ship sheets or towels or face cloths or soap or shampoo.
Yeah.
And we could really use a new home.
Yes.
Oh, and that's the other thing.
Yes.
Anybody's got, and how much space are you looking for?
I'm not good with square footage.
I'd say the size of a big 18-wheeler box truck, something like that.
Okay.
Just to give you an idea,
So,
1 room.
Fitchburg, you've heard that. And anybody else who's listening.
And anybody that's willing to sponsor a child. We have
And
children
there's
that
another
are-
thing, that's right.
And you
that's
do get a
right.
picture, and
it's a real child.
It's a real
somebody
child.
that you
I've
actually
seen
can
them.
connect with.
Yes.
Well, Patty, Pauline, and John, thank you so very much for coming on
welcome.
and telling us
Thank you
about
for
this
having
really
us.
important and I think easily forgotten area that's right in, really, it's in our own backyard in the sense that, you know, there they are, right down there off the coast of Florida, essentially. So I just want to say thank you very much, and good luck with the program.
You're welcome.
And I do want to say good night to everybody who's watching the show. Thank you so very much for watching. Congratulations to Mike Smith and Marie Roy, who keep this show going, for their awards on Monday night at the Boulder Awards. Good night, everybody.